What we are talking about today is Bouquet. Bouquet is an interactive visualization library that targets web browsers for presentation. Its goal is to provide high-performance interactive visualization and make sure we support very large and streaming datasets. There are a lot of other plotting libraries like Matplotlib, ggplot, Tableau, and this is just another one. So here today we will use a dataset named Gapminder. And first we import pandas as PD, and we're gonna load up some data by using pandas read/csv function. And after that, we use data.head to show our data, and to prove that our data is not some random stuff. We do have each columns, and for the life column, it means the life expectancy. And there are a lot of ways to work with Bouquet, and today we are gonna use Notebook. So by doing that, we do from bouquet.io input output /notebook. And it usually take a while the first time to make this Bouquet JAs load successfully. And then we do from bouquet.io import show, which shows us everything. And we do from bouquet.plotting input figure, and we're gonna stick a lot with the plotting API. And we will skip this line first, we will come back to it later. And since we already have the figure here, we can basically create a new figure by setting up height. Here we set it 300. That is because otherwise it would be a really tall graphic that doesn't look good. And for the X range, we set it from 100 to 100,000, Y range from 0 to 100, and the X-axis type, we make it to a log. That is because without doing that, the graphic just doesn't make sense. And here you can see we can basically passing on NumPy arrays, panda series, or just a pass on list into X and Y, and just plotting your data like this. And for the circle here, you can basically change it to line or cross, but here circle make more sense. And for this part is just let's see the graph. So over here, this just give the name of y-axis and x-axis and have the color of it and font of it, and then in the end we show it to people. And do you realize that for the x-axis, this is 10 to 10 powered by 2, and which is abnormal for a graphic, especially this is x-axis is income. So by changing that, that's why we need to get back to numeric formatter, and we import it from Bouquet.models, and that gives us a way to change the format to whatever you like. Here we add a dollar sign here and add a comma every 1,000, just like people do for money, like that. And then we import column data source from Bouquet.models. We're basically doing the same thing. We could pass data frame or dictionary, and we will do it super manually. We will make it with a dictionary that we create ourselves here. And for this line, we check the column names, which is X, Y, and country, and we're gonna use it later here. It's just easier for us by doing that. And for this graphic, we see here it's a graphic similar to the one we had before, but the different part is when we move our mouse onto each dot, you will see it shows up the country beside. And that is when we import hover tool from Bouquet.models. And then to make up hover, we say the two tips equal something we will pick the column by. Here is the country. When I hover over a dot, you will see the country's name pop up. Then if you don't like the small arrow, you could easily add here show slash arrow equals false and run it. The arrow just disappeared. Now the further part will be explained by Martin.
Thank you, Yankun. So now I'm going to be using the same data set and explaining how Bokeh can be used to customize the plots further. Instead of getting into the code directly, I'll be first showing you all what the output is and then explain the code so it's easier to visualize what the code would be doing. So let's get to the visualization first. So this is basically what the output of the code will be. Now as you can see that we have the x-axis as the income that was explained, the life expectancy is y, and the year data. So the only changes you can see that the colors of the countries have changed, and this is according to the regions that they have been segregated in. South Asia is blue, Europe and Central Asia is green. So that's what the colors of the plots show. And one more interesting thing, what we'll be showing is how to use Bokeh and create this. So as you can see that as the year changes or on the top right, the values and the plot is also being changed. So this is what the code is for. So let us get into the code now. So yeah, so that's the source data and how it's again creating a data source and creating a dictionary and having the same columns: income, life, country, population. The only change here is the region data because as you'll remember in the graph, we saw that the countries from different region have different colors. So that's why we need the region also in our data dictionary. Next is that we import the push notebook function from bokeh.io. So push notebook is basically used in such a way that it updates plot in the notebook itself with the new data. So as you all saw that we were showing the data from 1950 to 2014. So that's what the update function will be used for. And the push notebook would be giving us the new values from the data. So let's say we start from the year 1950 and a new data dictionary is created which will have the year as 1950. It will save it as x-axis, the life expectancy in the y-axis, the country data, or the region data and the population data. All this is stored in a new data dictionary. And now our new data becomes our source.data, which was originally stored out here, which had the 2010 data. So once that is done, we also give the title of the graph as the year, that is 1950, and then these values are pushed in the notebook. So the data for 1950 will show. Now the next function starts with update till 1950 from to 1951. Now the whole process continues and it goes up till 2014. So how does the function know where to stop? So basically that comes in from here where the IP widgets and we import interact from the IP widgets function, and we are using the update function here, giving it a start value of 1950 up to 2014 and incrementing it by one. Sorry, incrementing it by one. So that's how the function knows where to stop. Next is the linear interpolator. So linear interpolator is basically here we are using it so that we get the range of the x and y-axis. So let's say we kept the range manually entered 5 and 50, but what if you don't want to enter 5 and 50 and just don't want to look into the data and want to give it a range? So we use the minimum and the maximum value of the population and give it the range. Now we are also importing the categorical color mapper from bokeh.models and Spectra 16, which I'll explain what it is once I get further into the code from bokeh.palettes. So basically, the categorical color mapper function that we imported from bokeh.models, it's used to give colors to the plots based on different attributes. So as we saw that the countries from the different region had different colors. So that is what here the categorical color mapper is used for. Here we are creating a list of the unique regions in the data and storing it in factors and also storing the values of the Spectra 16. Okay, so Spectra 16 is a predefined color palette on that is defined on the bokeh server, and it show has the values of the colors that were shown for the different region. And since there were six regions, we used the spectral 6 function and stored it in palette. Next is we are using the figure function again, giving the title of this year and the toolbar location as above because we want the year to be displayed at the top, and using the data dictionary plot ops. Now, since we have used circles for the data, we can change it to cross, squares, whatever you want. You can. There are so many options that are there in Bokeh to even customize the different plots that can be used. Since we've used circles, I'm continuing using circles and creating the plot. So the X out here is stored in X. This basically means the this X is from the data dictionary that was created at the top. So Y is for Y. And now this is another function that we used for, yes, this one. So the field that we are going to use is population for the size of the circles, and we are transforming it using the size mapper. As you all can recall, we had used the size mapper here to find the smallest and the largest values of the population. So that's what the transform is used for. Now for color, we are using the regions since there were six regions and using the color mapper variable that was created here, which gives the color to each and every country in the plot according to the region. And alpha 0.6 alpha is basically used, as Jankun explained, alpha is used for the transparency of the circles, and 0. 0.6 you can change it to 0. 0.7, anything up to 1. The higher the value, the darker the circles. And the source is the data source that we created at the top, and we are giving the legend for the region. So here this is the region legend that is being used. Also, in other interesting applications of Bokeh are found on its website. So as you can see, there are server examples, Bokeh server examples. One of which I have already opened is this. Uh, let's say you can create like real time, uh, keep the axis as acceleration, display as y-axis, color as, let's say, weight, and size as the mpg. So as you can see, the graph updated. So this is also one of the examples of uh, what bokeh can be used for, and this is a really interesting one. Look at that. That is used using bokeh. I don't know how though, but it's continuously updating, and you can see how what all is used to make this and the explanation of this. So there are many other examples out here if you want to check and learn more about bokeh. It is a very interesting and helpful visualization tools, and it is used in various industries, pharmaceuticals, even astronomical data. It's even used for stock analysis. So there are a wide variety of applications of bokeh, and the best place to learn it is from the official site, which you can find on Google. They have a very good documentation. So, thank you very much.